It's been a year since my husband and I moved from Canada to Portugal, and to be honest with you, there were a lot of things that I was not prepared for. I'm still getting used to a lot of things, so in this video I decided to share my list of culture shocks that I've encountered in Portugal. I've spent the last 7 years in Canada, so moving from North America to Europe is something else. It's a whole different experience. I knew it's gonna be different, but some things, they were just so unusual to me, so new, so interesting, I would say. So I'm still kind of, what is going on? One of the adjustments we had to make was scheduling dinner. In Canada, if you ask someone out being like, hey, let's go for a dinner, a person would assume the dinner will be around 7, 8 p.m. Not like, 9 or 10 p.m. In Portugal, dinner time is at 10 p.m. The thing is, in Portugal, everything's open till till the last client, same as Russia. In Canada, everything closes at 2 or 3 a.m. depending on the province. Let's say you want to go out, you want to party, then you'll need to meet your friends at 7 p.m. so you can have dinner, have some drinks, and then go to a club. Here, people would have dinner at 10 p.m. have some drinks, we'll go to a club around 1 a.m. or like midnight, and then like party till the morning comes. I've honestly lived my whole life like this when I was living in Russia, but then I moved to Canada and I was like, but that makes so much sense. Why would I party till like 9 a.m. in the morning? I'm not 16 anymore. So now coming from Canadian way of partying back to basically Russian/Portuguese, I'm like, oh no. But as someone who goes to bed at midnight, it was super weird to me. But again, it depends on the people you friends with, basically, because we have a lot of Canadian/Russian speaking friends. But if we have Portuguese friends, then yeah, dinner's gonna be at like 10 p.m. Another thing that shocked me when we moved to Portugal was that people drink coffee all the time. And who am I to judge them, right? Honestly, it's 9 a.m., 3 p.m., 10 p.m. Espresso, faz favor. That is so weird and interesting, and I'm just like, so I don't have any problems with my sleep, but for people who have like what's going on? Every time Portuguese people or people who live in Portugal in general have dinner, they would have coffee after. And it makes sense to have coffee with a dessert, but not like at 10 p.m. Every time someone orders a cup of coffee after like, I don't know, 7 p.m., I'm just like, oh man, you will have a fun night. Don't get me wrong, I love coffee, I drink a lot of coffee, but drinking coffee after a night out, when you've been drinking beers and cocktails and shots, and then it's just like one espresso, and then you go home. And honestly, I'm fascinated by these people. But the biggest shock for me was the closed blinds. I come from a culture where everything is open. Yes, maybe in Soviet Union everything was closed. People didn't want their neighbors to know anything about them, but now it's not the case. In Canada, you have all these new condo buildings, panoramic windows, open, no blinds, no nothing. Here, the blinds are always closed. If you don't know why, it's because people are saving the warmth when it's cold outside, but they also protecting themselves from the heat if, let's say, it's plus 40 outside. But it's not the fact that they close the blinds, it's just I'm so used to seeing everything everywhere. You literally see a building in Canada, you'll see what the person is watching, what kind of TV show, Netflix or like HBO. Here, open windows, like no blinds, no nothing, is super rare. And every time I look around, I feel like we're the only ones with the open windows. I think our neighbors are also okay with open windows, but because they're not Portuguese, but every Portuguese apartment, they will have the blinds closed. And speaking of privacy, I've learned that you're not allowed to film in public. Thank you very much. I really wanted to film some vlogs, but I guess vlogs are not coming because in Portugal, you need to either have a consent basically you need to ask for permission, but at the same time how people are filming outside. So I've heard if let's say you are in my video and I'm like just walking there filming, you can like message me and be like, hey, remove me from the video, you should like blur my face or whatsoever. That is so interesting to me, because in America, in North America, people are literally walking in supermarkets like this with a camera being like, hey, I just bought this, you know, Coca-Cola glass. Here, you're not allowed. One time my husband decided to take a picture for his friend with the prices for the wine. The wine was on sale and it was like, I don't know, €1-2. He was taking a picture. The security guy was like running after my husband, be like, no pictures, you are not allowed. And he was like, what? I'm like, hey, you've lived in Canada for way too long, because in Russia it's the same thing. Once you take out your camera, they'll run and be like, no pictures. I mean, maybe now it's changed, but when I left Russia like 7 years ago, no, it was the same thing. So you're not allowed to film in public. But when you go to a bank or I don't know, any organization, they will ask you to send your IRS login and password, your tax papers, your like documents by email. What kind of privacy are we talking about here? Honestly, that is so funny. Every time like I go somewhere and they're like, oh, can you send this like by email? I'm like, privacy. They're like, yeah, it's like, it's super good, super well protected. I don't understand. The next culture shock is called Santos Populares. And if you've been to Portugal, to Lisbon during June, you know what I'm talking about. So Santos Populares is basically a whole month of celebrations of the saints in Portugal. And I've heard a lot of things about this holiday. I was like, okay, that sounds fun. People are like dancing and like grilling sardines. Everything's cool and fun. But I think I underestimated this holiday, because honestly, anytime you go outside, especially if you go to Alfama, the old city, people would be drinking and eating and partying. Like, it doesn't matter. 9 a.m., 5 p.m., midnight. I have no words, because it is so interesting to me, because let's say we have Canada Day, people would just like start celebrating maybe like 10, 11 a.m. and then they'll finish, I don't know, let's say 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Here, people are celebrating for the whole month. Every hour, every day. And it's awesome. These sardines, I'm not a fan of sardines, but they smell nice. People are gathering together. Like, it's so much fun. You can walk anywhere. You'll find something to do. Concerts, shows, fado, food. It's just amazing. If you're planning to visit Lisbon, come during June, because it's gonna be so much fun. Another thing that shocked me after Canada is that Portugal is super dog friendly. And I get it. It's a nice climate, a lot of outdoor patios in restaurants, let's say. So a lot of restaurant owners allow people to bring dogs. So I went to Canada in May. I was talking to my friends and I'm like, hey guys, let's meet, I don't know, go out, have some beers. And two of my friends were like, well, can we bring dogs? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like, they were going to a dog event after. We've spent, I think, a day, maybe even more, researching places that are dog friendly. We couldn't find a single one. Well, we found some places. They were either closed or something else. So we ended up not taking dogs with us. Way to go, Canada. And speaking of restaurants and food, another thing that shocked me, I would say, is that Portuguese food is identical. And I'm not talking it's like the same food everywhere, but kinda. So let's say in Canada we have poutine, we have, I don't know, beaver tails, we have smoked meat. Every restaurant will have a twist on it. You will have a classic poutine, but you will also have a poutine with guacamole, with like, I don't know, fish, shrimp, what, you name it. There are gonna be so many options of the twists. For those of you who don't know what a poutine is, it's basically loaded fries, so fries, gravy, and some cheese. Here, if let's say you have bacalhau, it's gonna be just bacalhau. Bacalhau is codfish. So you have like 2 or 3 recipes. So let's say grilled bacalhau, you have bacalhau with mayo, something else. By the way, if you know any restaurants that do Portuguese kitchen with a twist, so not like classic recipes, please let me know, because I would love to try something new, something interesting. Maybe, I don't know, bacalhau with guacamole. I don't know, honestly. And having the same recipe everywhere is good because you know what you're getting. But I think I'm just spoiled by Montreal, and I don't know, I wanna see a variety of different recipes. I feel like experimenting with traditional recipes has a lot of potential, and I mean, I'd love to try something with a twist. Another thing that I've noticed that Lisbon is super dirty. Not like New York or like Paris, but dirtier than Montreal. When we just moved here, my friends were like, is that true that there is dog shit everywhere? And I'm like, no, Lisbon is pretty clean, like it's all right. But then I started looking under my feet and I was like, oh, all right, okay. So people don't clean after their dogs. I've talked to a friend and she's like, I don't want to live like in this or that neighborhood because it stinks. So dogs pee, dogs poop, and people don't like pee. You cannot clean, obviously, but for the poop, they just leave it there. And it's plus 40 outside. Imagine the smell. No bueno, no bueno. I understand that capital cities are mostly dirty. Like any capital city you take, it's gonna be just like trashed. But can people who actually live here clean after their dogs? I saw a lot of poles with some kind of bags for dog excrement, so why not use a bag and clean after your dog? And the next thing that shocked me in Portugal is the way people dress up. Not actually the way they dress up, but the fact that they dress up. So in Russia, everyone would be like dressing up like crazy, full makeup on, heels, going to take out the trash. That's the outfit. In Canada, people don't care. They just like, if it's comfortable, if I like it, if it, I don't know, looks good on me, I wear it. In Portugal, it's the same, kinda, the same as in Russia. So we went to Russian ballet in December, I think, or in January, and there was a lineup of women. And every second woman was wearing a fur coat. And I was like, wait a minute, where are we? Like, what is going on? And first, like, my thought was, oh, Russian ballet, a lot of Russian-speaking women, they wear fur coats. But then, when I passed by those women, they were all Portuguese women. And I'm still shocked telling this to you because the last place where I would buy a fur coat would be Portugal, because I mean, I don't know, like, why would you wear a fur coat? But apparently a lot of Portuguese women love to dress up. They were all like, you know, full makeup, hair done, looking fabulous, looking gorgeous, heels, fur coats. And I'm just there standing in my sweatpants. No, actually, I didn't wear sweatpants to a ballet because I'm Russian. I almost wore a fur coat, but I decided not this time. And this is it for today. If you moved to Portugal from another country, let me know in the comments what shocked you. Maybe I've missed something. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!